Hello everyone, my name is Sunil Sodhi and today I'll be covering what is test initialize and test cleanup in automation. In the previous video we covered what is test class and what is the test method. So I'll open our simple solution where we have a test class and test method and we have three test cases. So let's simply start with writing a simple public method and I will give the name before test. And in this I will just write a simple code which says before test, and this is our simple method. So now we have to make sure if you want to initialize this, we have to use this initialize method. So what this initialize method is, basically it tells the script that this piece of code which is under test initialize and this method, it needs to execute first in the script. So it does not matter where you put this. You can actually put it all the way over here, at the bottom after all the test methods. But again, when you run the test script, this will initialize first. So no matter what where you put, so if it says test initialize, that's the most important thing. That means the test is going to this method is executing first before any script goes to any other method. So just for the sake of simplicity, I will just put it back over here just so the code is simple and clear to understand. But as long as you understand the concept, that's more than enough. So now we will write another simple method and we'll say after test, and again we'll put a simple message. It will say after test. And we have to again make sure that this over here we have to say this is test cleanup. So what do you mean by test cleanup? So in our real world scenario, when we actually run our automation script, so we want to make sure when the testing is complete, then in the end we actually with this method we actually clear everything. For example, I'll give you a simple example. So in under test initialize, we'll be putting our browser. So this is where our browser will open. So before it goes to any scenario, it will open the browser because it says test initialize. So once all the testing is complete, then over here we'll say close all browsers. So we'll put a simple code which will actually make sure that all the browser instances are closed, so there is no issues when the automation script runs the next test case. So when you finish with one test case, you want to make sure that it closes everything, and when the next test case runs, it runs clean. So that's why we use test cleanup method. So, and test initialize is basically, if you want first before it runs, we want to make sure that the browser is up and running. So under this we'll be opening our browser. So that's why we use test initialize. So it's a very simple concept to understand. So let's now, we already have our code ready, so let's now run this. So I'll just comment this part, so it's just to make it simple. So I'll build a solution. Okay, we have okay, so we need to add actually one more curly bracket. Okay, now let's try to build. Actually, no, we don't need to put one more curly bracket. It says it's expected. Okay, so so I have made one error. I have actually commented out the curly bracket over here, so that's why we were getting the error message. So now when we go and build the solution, it should build fine. And okay, now let's run this test. So I'll right click and say run selected test, and as you see, it's already passed. So let's check the output. So if you see the output, you see three messages. So first one is before test. So before any method, our test initialize, that method ran first, and then our test method, and then the test cleanup. So if you've seen the code, we have before test under test initialize, and then we have our test method one under this method, test method one, and then we have a test cleanup which says after test. So if you see the test results, so it's exactly doing what it's supposed to do. So that's the benefit of using test initialize and test cleanup. It's very simple concept to understand. Just practice a little bit, and it will really help you when you write your test cases. That's pretty much I want to cover in this session, and looking forward to see you in our next session. Thank you so much.